Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back to the Red Machine podcast in association with Kodansha, Inspire Impossible Stories. Wataru Endo, in the last episode, we began to explore your route into the game. You told us how you went to university for a while. Let's just pick up there, remind us, what university was it? What were you studying?
Yeah, I was learning sports science, sports business, and how the body works. So yeah.
Same time, you're playing a lot of football.
yeah.
At the same time, that was still the main thing, wasn't it? If you weren't a footballer, what do you think you would have been doing in your life, Wata?
I think I would be PE teacher or something like that. Yeah.
Teaching people to kick a ball.
yeah.
Something about that.
Yeah.
What about the advice you got from your family or teachers? What stands out to you? I know your dad was really important to you, wasn't he?
Yeah. But actually, my dad doesn't talk a lot. But when I first started playing as a center back, he gave me a tactical book. He didn't say almost anything, but just like try to read it or something like that. So.
And it was tactics, was it?
Yeah, tactics book. Yeah.
So
it's a lot of tactics, but it's very basic tactics. 1v1, 2v2, so how to defend 3v2 or something like that. Yeah.
Have you still got that book?
Yeah, I think so. Not in my house, but yeah, I still have it. Yeah.
You don't use it though.
No.
Do you think he would have liked to have been a professional footballer, but he enjoyed just as much watching you do?
Yeah, I think so.
The pathway?
Yeah, I think now he really enjoyed to watch my game, and I think he believes that I'll be a football player, I think.
How did it, you say he didn't talk much, but what was his approach towards you?
After he always took me to the training, and also he watched the training, so after the training, like how was the training, or he always asked me that simple question, and I answered it, and he sometimes said, if we keep training here, you will play on that level or something like that.
So he was quite positive.
Yeah, very positive.
He wasn't a critical dad.
No.
Because some are, aren't they? Some feel pressured. Whereas it sounds like your dad was very helpful.
Yeah, always. Say to me very positive things. Yeah.
And what about the teachers, the Japanese teachers around you? Because we imagine Japanese teachers to be very strict, disciplinarians. Did your ambitions with football ever clash with, traditional culture in Japan? Was there ever a clash between the two, what you wanted to achieve in football and what was expected from a traditional Japanese upbringing? Yeah,
try to do study and also training as well. So I don't have a lot of problem with that.
So in school, in middle school, you had teachers with different responsibilities, didn't you?
Yeah. We had two types. Two types.
Two types. Go on, explain what they were.
One teacher is like, you can enjoy play football, but also you should study as well or something like that. You have to say hello if you meet people or something like that. He told me very simple thing how you have to be as a person.
As a person, yeah.
Then another teacher is like, if you play football well, you can be a football player. Also, he doesn't need to study or something like that. Yeah.
So actually, those are two extremes, aren't they?
Yeah. So I think it was good for me to see both opinions and then I realized which is the best way for me or something like that.
So you joined Shonan.
Yeah, Shonan
Belmar
team. Yeah, youth team. So youth team is under 18s. Yeah.
Right. But you had to have good grades If you didn't have good grades from your classes,
Yeah.
they wouldn't let you play, or?
Yeah. If the test results is not good, you can't train in the youth team.
Disaster.
Yeah. It was a bit crazy, but yeah, Shonan is very really taking care of the study as well. You know, not only football, but also they think the player has to be great as a person, and also if you are a student, yeah, you have to study or something like that. So.
I hope they didn't see your science results.
Yeah, but under 18s, yeah, at the moment I did really well, really. So I don't have problem at all.
What were your coaches like? Strict? A lot of focus. Was it fun at that stage, the football?
I would say it's very strict. Yeah. More than like a UK or something. Yeah. But I feel like it's very normal in Japan, so I don't think it's too strict or something like that. Yeah, that's normal for me to the teacher told me, yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah.
How were the days set out then? How did you balance it all? You had school, you had training,
Yeah.
other activities as well. How did you balance all that in a day?
Yeah, under 18s youth team, it's quite hard schedule because I wake up at 7 or 7:30 and went to school, and after school I'm going to training. Yeah, start training at 6 or 7 o'clock, and I came back home like 10 or something. So yeah, it was quite a schedule for me, but yeah, I really wanted to be a football player, so yeah, just I tried to both doing well.
Okay, this seems like a really good moment to introduce our first special guest. We have two today. Earlier I spoke to your old junior high school teacher, Ono Sensei, and I asked him what he remembered about you from school.
おそらく初めに会ったのが、彼が小
I
学
believe the first time I met him was when he was still in primary school. He came by with his primary school teammates to take part in a trial session for our junior high football club. Right away, I could see how much he loved the sport. He seemed to be so happy playing football. It was like he was thinking, great, I get to play, let's give it everything. And that was the sort of atmosphere he brought with him. As for his skill level, to be honest, he was certainly good within that group, but if I may say so, he gave the impression of being just a slightly above average player that you could find anywhere. And that's how I remember him, talented, but not someone who stood head and shoulders above the rest at that stage. And he also failed the selection for the Yokohama squad in his second year, which shows you the level he was at. So that at that point, imagining him making the national team one day wasn't really feasible. Still, we did talk about finding an environment where he could keep pushing himself.
Wata, there seems to be a bit of a theme developing here from your brother last time, and you're allowed to take that from your brother, but here we go. This time your old teacher, even he says no one really saw you having a future as a professional footballer.
Yeah, it seems that way, yeah.
Are you comfortable hearing that? Did you?
I'm okay because I know that it's difficult to be a football player, so I don't mind they are thinking.
Well, obviously they believe in you now, but back then they might have found it tougher to believe. Were you always quite different in your belief to them? Were you so focused that you knew?
I just focus on myself. I believe myself to be a football player.
Well, that's how you made your dreams come true. There's a bit more from your old teacher. Let's have a listen now. Maybe this explains why you have made it.
はい。サッカーは大好きでしたね。いつも
He
上手く
really
なる
loved football. He was always putting in the effort to get better, paying close attention to things like diet and sleep. And I think he was very aware of what he needed to do. As for training, he would be the first one out on the pitch and the last one still kicking the ball around. He'd get everything ready himself, setting up the balls, for example, so he could squeeze in every possible moment of practice. I think he chose the school football club simply because he could play more often, including morning practice. And of all the options available to him at that age, the school let him play the most, and that's why he went with it. We place our priority on a student's development as a person. We talk about what it means to behave as a decent human being, as a student, as a member of the family, that sort of thing. And I'm sure Wataru remembers those talks. Before discussing football, we wanted them to manage the basics, greeting people properly, keeping up with their studies, following the rules, pitching in with class committees and so on. And when I look at him now, I feel like those lessons really took root. He was the kind of boy who would listen sincerely and use that guidance to grow.
So, those school talks, Wata, the teachers, I mean, you mentioned it before, teachers really trying to instill proper values in you all.
Yeah. He teaches about also football, but they taught us important thing about the life as well. So, yeah.
Did you enjoy those lessons? I imagine as a teenager, it's maybe a little bit tough.
Yeah, I enjoy it. If the teacher say that, I just follow. So.
Yeah. But they're obviously very valuable, aren't they? They help you in life.
Yeah.
And you would probably tell your children.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I'm so lucky that I could meet these kind of teachers. Yeah.
What of those lessons do you use perhaps when you're in the training sessions, or seeing your teammates, or seeing fans? Is it what of those valuable lessons you learnt when you were younger do you think you use now?
Here, the culture is different, so I don't think about what I learned in Japan too much, to be honest. But I don't want to forget what I learned from them as well. So
you're an incredibly polite person, and I think there is a lot of politeness. It's about greeting people, your sincerity. Mm-hmm. I don't know, from talking to you, maybe following the rules and things like that. I think you very much got that instilled in you.
Yeah. So that's me. So I do that, but I don't say like you have to do like me or something like that. I don't do that. Yeah.
Right. What was the first time you signed your contract?
Yeah, I felt like dream came true. That's what I wanted to be. So I'm very excited. And I said to my parents first, I'm going to be a professional football player, yeah.
Right, we've actually spoken to a friend of yours, and Sakurai told us this.
Sakurai, yeah.
Sakurai, yeah. You know him? Have a listen.
はい、渡るとは、私は小学校と中学校
Wataru and I played football together all through primary and lower secondary school. I started playing football in year 4, so we ended up on the same team for about 5 years total. The whole time I thought Wataru didn't really have any weaknesses. He was just really good at every part of the game. And back in primary school we didn't have fixed positions, so we'd all rotate as goalkeeper and so on. I was taller, so I was usually the one in goal, but I was pretty stubborn and kept saying I wanted to play as a forward. And then Wataru would say, no worries, I'll be the keeper. So I got to play up front instead, and it really showed how kind he was, even putting the team first. So even in primary school, you could see how big-hearted he was. When we moved on to lower secondary school, Wataru's talent got noticed right away, and he started getting picked for matches in his first year. Initially, he played as a forward, but in the second and third year, he also covered attacking midfield, and then in the third year, he was suddenly switched to centre-back. Even then, he was top class at defending, but still had those great shooting and free kick skills. So he wore the number 10 shirt as a centre-back, took free kicks, and led the team as captain. Honestly, back then I never imagined Wataru would go on to play at the very top level. Of course I knew he was talented, but we were just regular middle and high school kids playing football, aiming to get as high as we could. So, from our perspective, the idea that he'd end up at Liverpool and be entrusted with the Japan captaincy was just beyond anything we could have imagined. Looking back now though, I think Wataru always had this intelligence that let him adapt to any situation. It wasn't just football, whether it was table tennis, badminton, you name it, he'd pick it up easily. I'm incredibly proud of him. It honestly feels like it's become part of my life's joy. I got to go to the Qatar World Cup with my entire family, and it was just an amazing experience. It really made me think, can life get any better than this? And on top of that, purely by chance, I got to watch last season's Carabao Cup final and see the moment they lifted the trophy, which was such a blessing. I'm truly grateful for all these wonderful memories. And at the same time, as a friend, I'm thinking, I'd love to go fishing again sometime. And watch out for injuries. Don't push yourself too hard. Just take it easy.
感じもありつつですかね。はい。
Right, that's Sakurai, Wata's friend. He says, don't push yourself too hard. I don't think Wata will listen to that because he is the machine, isn't he? He just keeps going. Thank you very much, Sakurai. He also says about going fishing together.
Yeah,
Fishing, yeah?
yeah.
Is that your secret love?
Not secret, but yeah, I went fishing when I was middle school. Yeah, so yeah, I enjoy fishing.
You could invite him over, you could fish in the Mersey?
No, actually, Sakurai is very, he always planned where we going. So yeah, he always planned to go to fishing, go to playing football or something like that. So I just follow that. How he wants,
He was in control.
Yeah.
He understood. Right, when did things really begin to change for you? When did you go from the kid who no one thought would make it to someone who's being watched by top teams? At what point? Was it within Shonan Belmar?
Belmar?
Yeah, is that when people started recognising how good you could be?
Yeah, but I'm not sure. They think I'm gonna be a national team player or something, playing Premier League or something like that. I don't think.
Did you ever have any setbacks, any moments where you thought maybe this isn't going to plan and I might not reach my ambition here?
Maybe when I was in Stuttgart and I became 30 years old, and I probably think I was a little bit thinking like, I maybe can't play Premier League anymore, something like that. And then Liverpool offered me, so.
It's funny, it sounds to me like you've always got a higher ambition. So you were at Stuttgart, but you wanted an even bigger club. You come to Liverpool Football Club. Have you had that moment yet where you have thought, I've made it?
No, not really.
No?
No, I'm still on the way.
You still feel you're on that journey?
I think that's my style because, even if you achieve the goals, I start thinking like, what's the next goal for me or something like that. So for me now, I'm in Liverpool, and I really wanted to be a Premier player, and I wanted to play Premier League. But now, for me, it's all about winning the title. So, my goal is to achieve the title at the moment. So.
If you win the Premier League, will you think you've made it? Will that be a defining moment?
Yeah, I might think, I made it. Then I start thinking, I want to win Champions League and Premier League twice in a row or something. That's my mind,
And the World Cup.
And the World Cup, yeah. That mind helps me to be a professional football player and also to be a Premier player and to be a Japan national team captain.
You will remember putting the Liverpool shirt on for the first time, and you will remember walking out at Anfield for the first time.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, thinking back now?
Yeah, amazing feeling, but it was very quick, after I decided to move to Liverpool because, I got offer. For example, on Tuesday, and I decided to move, and next day, I signed with a contract with Liverpool, and only one time training, and I play on Saturday also. I didn't have much more time to enjoy the moment.
I think when you're older, Wata, you're going to sit down and maybe think about all these things, and maybe appreciate them more. When you're older. Right, we've seen you come on late in games this season in the Premier League. You've done a great job for the team. You've been amazing. You played different roles, played centre-half too. This is what your old teacher had to say about that.
ポジションの話というか、
I'm not surprised at all to see him playing there. Back in junior high, even though he had positions he preferred, he would give his all to any role we asked him to fill. For instance, if a forward suddenly needed to play centre-back, most players would find that unsettling, but Wataru never hesitated. He'd say, "Sure, I'll try it." And even if he wasn't perfect at first, he'd adapt quickly and make that position his own. No matter where we put him, he always seemed to grasp exactly what mattered for that position, and he used that understanding in his play. I believe the person who loves football the most makes the best captain, because if their passion is unwavering, everyone else will naturally follow. That's what I look for. He had it in abundance. He wasn't the type to step out front and give big speeches, but he'd be the first one on the pitch, getting the balls ready, never slacking off. He showed his love for football in everything he did, and people gravitated towards that.
そういうところを本当によく理解して、きっとプレーしてたのかなって思います。はい。
So what, do you agree with him? Do you appreciate every day that you're playing?
Yes, yeah. I love playing football, and that's my job. So yeah, I feel like how happy I am.
You're living the dream, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm living the dream. Yeah.
Your brother would love to be doing this, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Absolutely super. What, as always, an absolute pleasure to catch up with you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
And I know he wants to thank all the Liverpool fans who've given him so much support as well out there, because it's been a brilliant season. You've had lots of backing, haven't you? That was another Red Machine podcast with Kodansha. Inspire impossible stories. Boom. Oh!
Thank you very much.
Top man.